Here's your Storm Track 7 forecast.
Good afternoon, Eastern Iowa. I'm Storm Track 7 meteorologist Andy Cassidy. Well, it has been certainly very windy the past 2 days, and while not as windy today, still gusts around 30 miles per hour are possible really throughout the afternoon and this evening, and even through the overnight hours. It actually picks up late in the overnight hours as the system starts to move in from the west, picking up our winds even more during the day tomorrow, gusting up to 35 miles per hour. So I was trying to mix two ideas at once, but similar to yesterday, to Tuesday, winds are going to be 15 to 25 gusts to 35, so that's what it'll be like for the day on Thursday. And with those strong southerly winds, we're going to see temperatures pick up for this afternoon. Highs in the mid to upper 60s north and east, upper 60s and low 70s south and west. We'll have a lot of thin cloud cover, so sun will peek through quite a bit, but it'll be more of a partly cloudy sky overall. For tonight, we're going to keep things mild with that strong south-southeast wind, mid to upper 40s north and east, low 50s south and west. Clouds will build in through the overnight hours, and then starting early tomorrow morning, we could see a chance of showers and storms, and then during the afternoon hours, it'll be mostly cloudy but warm, highs in the upper 60s and low 70s. Now you see this alert day outline. Let's go into this a little bit further. I think the main threat for any severe weather is going to be Thursday night after sunset. Things look to be just developing a little bit too late for our neck of the woods during the afternoon. It starts off in western Iowa and then starts to move in from west to east. So if we do see severe weather, hail is going to be the primary threat, and let's get into this a little bit in more detail. So you notice the level 2 risk here, or basically it looks like we're kind of in the bullseye here with the front, but let's zoom in a little bit to it. So much of the region is under this level 2 out of 5 risk. The only areas that are not are along the Mississippi there. But most of it, I think, is going to stay off to our west because that's where it's going to develop during the afternoon, evening, be a little bit more energy to play with, because by the time it gets here, again, it's just not going to have a whole lot to work with. But again, if we do see anything large, he'll be the primary risk. Maybe some gusty winds. Tornado chance is really, really low. It's not zero, but it's really, really low. That's more off to the west in central western Iowa. So let's break this down further. I think that's the third time I've said that. I just like to break things down, I guess. So in terms of tornadoes, like cardboard. So in terms of tornadoes, again, you can see it's on the low end, 1 out of 4 there on the scale, and most of it's even in western and central Iowa. So again, I'm not too concerned about this, but can't absolutely rule it out. Hail is that primary risk. You can see it's on the 2 out of 4 scale, and you see these black hash marks. That means significant hail, 2 inches or greater. But notice it's west of I-35, so again, I think that primary risk, even though it's hail here, the bigger hail will be off to the west. And then winds, you can see 1 out of 5 again. We could see some gusty winds, maybe up to 60 miles per hour, so that's that minimum threshold for severe thunderstorm warning, technically 58. So we could see some gusty winds. So as you can see from this, hail will be the primary threat. Now in terms of Friday, once this moves through Thursday night, that risk stays off to the south and to the east, well into parts of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, so on and so forth. For us, you can see this level 1 barely scratching our southeast surface. This, I think, is just for any early Friday morning storms, because by the time this moves out, we still could have some lingering 7, 8 a.m. and then after that, just some scattered showers. So with that all that being said, let's go into future track and show you, what we really want to know, what's the timing. So here we go through the rest of today in partly cloudy skies, and then we'll see mostly cloudy skies during the overnight hours. Now we could see some scattered showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder during the morning hours into the early afternoon. I don't expect this to be severe. Maybe you could see some heavy rain and maybe some stronger thunderstorms, but not expected to be severe. So here's noon, right on along Mississippi. That moves out, and then after that, we're pretty quiet, pretty dry. You're noticing some light showers. I don't really expect any of this to develop, and if it does, it'll be pretty light. Then there'll be some activity off to the west here. This is where, again, I think the primary concern is going to be west of I-35, and then even more so into southwestern Iowa. But here, again, you notice it's 10 o'clock, nothing's even here yet. Not until really maybe midnight we start to see things, and you could see these kind of little pink spots there. That's where we can maybe see that large hail. As we go into the overnight hours, that's through, and then really after that, for Friday morning, could see some isolated showers, but that's about it. I think for the most part, Friday's gonna be pretty dry and pretty windy. So because of the reasons I said, I wouldn't be shocked if that outlook for that level 2 does scale back a little bit farther west. It'll update at 12:30 this afternoon. Of course, we'll keep you posted on air and online with that update. So I'm not saying the severe threat is necessarily low or zero, but I think it's a little bit lower for our area, especially the farther east you live. So let's pick things back up at Friday morning, 7 a.m. So we could see a few isolated showers, but I think for the most part, again, like I said, we're going to be dry Friday. So you can see all of that to the south and to the east where you saw that level 2 risk there for Friday. That's off to the south and to the east. So Saturday is going to be dry. Then as we head to the afternoon hours and evening hours on Saturday, then it starts to pick back up for us on Sunday. and this is where Easter Sunday could get a little bit wet. So you notice across the state here, the best chance I think is Sunday afternoon and evening. Then as we go through the overnight hours, that does clear out by Monday morning, and then we'll see that kind of dissipate a little bit. So in terms of rainfall totals, maybe about an inch across the board, but of course we'll keep you posted on that. So your city-by-city forecast for Waterloo, Dubuque, Cedar Rapids, and Iowa City. Temperatures falling through the day on Friday, and then after that, as we go through the rest of the 10-day, will be pretty windy. Again, Easter Sunday, we're keeping an eye on when the worst of the rain is going to be, probably Sunday afternoon and evening. After that, things quiet down a little bit next week and pretty seasonal with highs in the upper 60s and low 70s.